Good evening. This is Real Talk with Sheryl Corriveau, and it is, Thursday night. It's almost 8, and I just wanted to come on here and share a bit. It was a kind of a really interesting day, and I had a conversation with a friend. Hi, Heidi Joe. And my friend was talking about how they wanted to kind of bring out what they wanted to do in the world. They want to kind of go after their gifts and their dreams, and there was a fear of judgment. And I just, I realized that a lot of us are held back by fear of judgment, but we are judging also. And so I'm a student in A Course in Miracles, and I wanted to share something. So this is a lesson 47 in the workbook for students. And the lesson is, hey there, lady. God is the strength in which I trust. Okay, God is the strength in which I trust. And this is what I was sharing with my friend, because, like when we judge, what is the strength what are we trusting in? In judgment? Because I'm pretty sure you're pretty powerless when you're judging or you're judging yourself. And I believe in forgiveness. I believe in forgiveness, and I believe that there is grace in forgiving ourselves and also forgiving others. In fact, I think it's the same, one and the same, because I think if we're judging others, we certainly must judge ourselves, right? If we're condemning others, we must condemn ourselves. And if we forgive others, we are better able to forgive ourselves. And I think a lot of people need to hear this. Where are you trusting? What is the strength that you're trusting? And the reason I really truly feel that despite being human and despite making mistakes, I'm able to rise and still continue with the work I do is because my faith is, my trust is not in my ego of my little self, of this human vessel that from day to day, maybe it's PMS, maybe it's a slow drive, you know what I mean? My ego's loves all the candy. And yet when I meditate and when I really realize that I am connected to God, source, universe, that is my higher self. That is the true, besides my resume and the body, that is where I really reside. So when I can place my trust in that, God is the strength in which I trust, I'm able to travel through the world a lot lighter than carrying all the heavy burdens of the judgments and the criticism and the condemning and all that stuff. And I'm just speaking universally. I think this is universal language. And, I think people, if you could just let forgiveness rule, right? Let forgiveness rule for yourself first, and then for everyone else. Because you can't show up authentically if you are holding on to all these judgments and all these criticisms, because what you're giving, you're receiving. It's giving and receiving are one and the same. And, often we trust in other people's opinions of what we're supposed to, of what's okay for us. We give our power away. We give our trust away. No, there's one place that your trust should be. And that's in where you came from and where you're going to go back to. That's in your Creator. And that is always within us, guiding us by our conscience, guiding us by whether you feel the contraction inside or whether you feel open inside, right? We are constantly being guided. Are we listening? Or are we placing our trust and faith in things that don't really deserve them, right? You can have some really judgmental people in your life, and you're probably not going to get too far if you're listening to them as how far you can go or what you're here to do. Only you have those answers. No one else is qualified unless it's an area that you're looking to improve and someone is very well past you in terms of what they've achieved and they're admirable, and that's wonderful. And you can have a mentor and such. But as far as the answers for your life, you have that inside. That's a soul, that's a soul connection. And to be giving your trust to judgment or criticism, either of yourself or others, is just a misplaced way of traveling through this world, because you're going to be looking for outside approval, and you can't. I mean, you can certainly, but you can't and be satisfied and fulfilled in this life. And I think that trusting in your higher self, trusting in where you came from, trusting in whatever you believe. It's not like I'm, because I interchangeably use God, source, universe. I believe that I'm supported because I'm here, right? I believe if there's something in my heart, I can go for it because I'm supported, right? There's something of value. You have something of value. You need to know what your gifts are, and then you lean into them, and then you share them with the world. And the problem that I think is the sad piece is when you don't do that because you're afraid of judgment from others or yourself or criticism or all that stuff. And that's not what you're here to do. You gotta get your focus first of all on forgiveness, because that's like kind of undoing the illusion, sort of. You know what I mean? If you read A Course in Miracles, I just love it. I'm gonna read this real quick. So this is again that lesson 47 in Workbook for Students. God is your safety in every circumstance. Let that sink in. Every, all inclusive, safety. Where are you putting your safety? In the outside things that are going to fade? I don't know. I don't want to put my safety there. His voice speaks for him in all situations and in every aspect of all situations. Pretty all-inclusive. Telling you exactly what to do to call upon his strength and his protection. Are you asking though? Because we have to ask. We have to be open to a higher way of looking at a situation. Past fear, we ask for love. That's the miracle, right? Course in Miracles. That's all the miracle is. You see fear in a situation. Somebody disapproves of you, judges you, criticizes you, and you say, you know what? Please help me to see love here. Because the higher self is always trumps. But we get into ego and we get into like reacting and all that stuff. And it's like, it's like shoveling shit against the tide. It's not going to do anything for you. You want to be liberated. You want to be free. And you want to know that trust in something that's going to be solid. Anyway, it goes on to say there are no exceptions because God has no exceptions. And the voice which speaks for him thinks as he does. Again, you could think of God outside of you. I think of God as a very personal relationship because that's where I came from. So because I meditate, visualize, and have practices every day that really keep me in alignment, I can almost observe when the ego kicks up and wants to react and attack and all the things that our egos love to do. But really, our higher self is love. We're all connected. Our higher self is love. Even if we're in an illusion of something that we believe and we're in attack, you can still forgive right in that place, right in that shadow place. And you can offer it and you can extend it as well. And I feel like this is how healing is real, is by extending forgiveness, extending love, even from a distance. It's not always like a face-to-face. But what you realize is there is a higher way. And there is a higher law of love and intelligence. I always say, did this come from love and intelligence? I wrote that in my book. Because I really always want to know the truth. And even what I think sometimes is, I've got to question that. I've got to question. And so when I say God is the strength in which I trust, it's so awesome because I don't have to trust in my little, what do I really know? It's from my experience. It's from my, you know what I mean? It's so limited. When you go up in a plane, like how little do we look, right? And I just wanted to share this today because I realize it keeps people small and stuck out of fear of judgment and criticism. And I'm saying, Heidi Jo, when the heart feels good, our brain does as well. Yeah, totally. It's a choice. I'm unavailable for anything less than my highest and best, and that's to feel good. You're right. Because what we are and what we receive, we're able to give. It's energy. It's interchanging all the time, whether you know it or not, whether you mean it or not. So why not choose the higher road? Choose forgiveness in the midst of something that's you think is like unforgivable. Because you know why? You are the one that has the consequence of that feeling that you're absorbing and focusing on, right? Like I always talk about Byron Katie's work, in any question, any thought, any belief, she questions it. Is it true? First question. Are you absolutely sure it's true? Second question. I mean, how many people could interpret one situation differently, right? Many. 3, what is this belief costing you? You have to understand, there's a cost involved when you're holding on to negativity, judgment, criticism. There's a cost to you. Never mind like you think it's about the other person. You are paying a price. So you need to really think about that. Hey, Claudia. And then the 4th question is, who would you be without this thought or belief? Now, just even thinking about what is it costing you and then thinking about what would you be without it, it puts you into observer mode, right? And sometimes you need perspective and a little bit of space in order to see things in a different way, to make a different choice. So when you ask these questions, and you can just go online, it's called thework.com. It's Byron Katie, she's amazing. But it, again, is about you are creating your world. You're creating your life, and you're creating it one thought at a time. And if you think you can't, then your life is going to be mainly full of just you reacting to what's going on around you versus taking a stand and choosing what you want your life to look like. And the canvas, I'll tell you what, the canvas of love and forgiveness is a choice. It's not some little rosy, feathered place. It is a choice, and it is not always the easy choice. Trust me, it's much easier to react and attack out of ego. It's what we've learned. It's culturally what we've learned. And, that's why I love the Course in Miracles, because it literally makes you responsible for what you're showing up for and for the thoughts that you're maintaining focus on, which draws more of the same into your life. So I don't know about you, but it makes me want to pause and say, is this what I want more of? And also getting into the practice of forgiving others and yourself real quick. Because guess what? We make mistakes and we're human. But the larger part of us is divine and beautiful and always connected to God, Source, Universe, whatever you want to call it. Always. And that is the strength in which I trust. That is why, despite, our human frailties, I have a faith in something that's much bigger. And you have access to that. And that's how you become solid and wobble-free. By just knowing the universe has your back. But you have to be open to that. You have to be open to maybe changing the way you've done things, changing the way you've judged yourself or others. Because on the other side of that is where the freedom is. And when you can show up and truly be yourself and truly know that you are here to live your life authentically, you know what? Other people and what they think really doesn't matter. It's actually none of your freaking business. Okay? It's none of your business. Why don't you stick in your lane and mind your business, right? Which is your life, and you let other people do the same. And that's what happens. And you know what? The people that are gonna be along for your journey, they will be. And the people that won't, that's fine too. Because you need to own it, and you need to own it now, because life is not forever. And I am all about, don't live with regrets, and don't harbor judgment and unforgiveness, right? Just let that shit go. As my friend Nancy would say, let that shit go. Because we don't have time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Because you want to feel good. Even health is out of feeling good. Do you know that the highest vibrations of love and joy almost make you immune to the lower vibrations that kick up of, you know, all that crap on the news and fear and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't even subscribe to that channel. I don't even like, I'm not even like, I don't know. I'm not aware of it because that's my choice. I'm unavailable for anything except what I want. And it's my choice. I literally am not. And because of that, I just vibe in a different way. And things like of that lower nature, it just doesn't affect me. And that's what I want to share is you can choose. And choose to put your trust in something bigger than you, bigger than this, whatever you can see around you, the circumstances around you, because this is not it. This is such a small piece of who you are. Divinity, like beautiful and limitless, and you have everything working for you if you only decide that you are unavailable for anything less than your highest and best good. Yeah, I just felt really strong about coming on here and sharing this because I feel like a lot of people need to just get rid of the judgment and criticism and forgive yourself and forgive others. You have to forgive others because it's a mirror. So you have to do it. And it might be hard to do it, but you just work at it. And you know, and whatever it takes. I coach a lot of people. And let me tell you what, this is one of the big areas and the most freeing when you get past this. The most freeing, because when you don't judge yourself, when you're not criticizing yourself, when you can love yourself unconditionally like God does, hello, that's freedom. That's living in every day deciding I'm showing up to love myself. I'm showing up to love others and myself. And that's all I have to say tonight. I really want you to just stop judging yourself and allow yourself some slack in every area. Okay? Because that's what the universe wants to tell you. That's what God wants to tell you. Because you're loved unconditional. And if you put limits on yourself, you don't have to anymore. You can shake those chains off and you can ask for help. And I just ask, you know, the big prayer in the Course in Miracles is simply, tell me what to do. Tell me where to go. Tell me what to say and to whom. And when you create a connection with Spirit and a relationship that you actually listen and hear through meditation, right? Through all these practices. Yes, that's my Clarity Pyramid necklace. This actually came from Brazil. I got it with my friend Nancy at the Natural Living Expo last year. I love it. But yeah, so anyway, I just hope this touched your heart. I want you to live free. I want you to live authentic. It takes pushing through some fear, but I'll tell you what, when you do, there's freedom lying on the other side, and there's another level of you, and it's time to level up, and it's time to say yes to that higher version of you. Because let's just, from now on, ask, did this come from intelligence and love? And you will have your answer. And based on that, that's where you base your truth. And then my last thing, if someone isn't living what you're doing, then they're not qualified to give you advice on that area. Okay? Go to Source. Go to your soul. Get quiet. Meditate. You say you don't know how to meditate? You can meditate. You need to still the wild mustangs in your mind. You need to put on, I use Kundalini meditation music every day because it just, I don't know. I just get into the groove of it. I get into my higher self. And yeah, the view is much more beautiful from there. But it's practice and it's tips. And if you feel like you'd like help with this is what I do. I'm a coach. And I connect you to your soul because that's what we need. We don't even need to learn anything. We need to unlearn. That's what we need to do. We need to unlearn all the craziness that we've learned that block our vision and block our creativity and block the essence of who we really are to show up in the world unapologetically, authentically, speaking from our hearts, sharing our gifts, and rocking that. Like, just, you know what I mean? And it's taken me a long time, and I finally, you know, I have my voice back, and it's really freaking nice. I want the best for you. I love you guys, whoever's listening and watching. Thank you so much. Like my new page if you haven't, Real Talk with Sheryl Corriveau. And I'm also doing a TV show with my good friend Paula Sullivan called The Comfort Zone, with comfort crossed out. So if you're doing something in the world and you're sharing your gifts and you're making a difference and you'd like to be a guest, because we interview our guests and it's really awesome and fun, and then it's a YouTube video and you can share it, let me know. All right, that's it. Love you guys. Peace out until next time.